Good evening and welcome to the Village of Romeoville's meeting this Wednesday, March 18th, 2026 at 6:01 p.m. Can I get a roll call, please?
Trustee Palmeyer.
Here.
Trustee Chavez. Trustee Clancy.
Here.
Trustee Richards.
Here.
Trustee Griffin.
Here.
Trustee Aguirre.
Here.
Mayor Noak.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Very good. Mr. Dre, will you lead us in the pledge tonight?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. No comments from the public this night. No one signed in for public comments. Our next two presentation and proclamation, we're waiting on the presenters to come, so we'll be doing that later in the program as soon as they arrive. So we'll move on then to Resolution 264173, resolution entering professional services proposal with, what is it? Is that RVI?
RVI.
All right, planning and landscape architecture for design engineering services for Route 66 Park. Are we gonna talk about both at the same time or just?
We could, yes. I know
Or
Don
you wanna-
wanted to start with some comments.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it bleeds into the other one, we're also gonna be talking about, because it kind of interrelate, Resolution 264174, resolution in their professional service proposal with RVI for planning and landscape architecture for design engineering services for Veterans Park. Please, Mr. Chair.
Sure, I'll start, Your Honor. Just want to thank the board again. These are two very exciting projects before you this evening. The first one is the Route 66 Park. We're excited to create a new Route 66 themed stop along Route 53, celebrating our community's place on America's most iconic roadway. It's a very exciting project, long time coming to the area. Hopefully this destination will offer residents and visitors a more memorable place along the route together, and we're going to go through a few steps here. The first step is getting someone under contract to start the design. We've already got some exciting ideas coming out, but Chris will go over the contract for the design on this one.
So we definitely are going to be looking at different options that'll be in this area. We do in our upcoming budget have it planned for some definitely improvements in this area, having some parking spaces and then just like Dawn mentioned, a stop. We have some really very concept plans at this point, but we are looking to work with RVI Planning and Landscaping along with Robinson Engineering on this park for $281,400, which is what's in this group. So it'll include some renderings and some other information as we get going. I hope to have a schedule pretty soon. We don't have that ready right now, because it's still in a very conceptual stage.
Yeah, and as we go into the anniversary of Route 66, it's a great time to embrace that. We do have a couple of sites along the corridor, but certainly this would give us almost like a gateway site. We're one of the earliest stops if you're coming out of Chicago on the route, and it gives us an opportunity to give a little more of a pull for that crowd to come in. Our other sites are really kind of maybe a little brief, but this will give them a place to really learn about it as well, learn maybe about our history and our integration to it. And I think part of the thought there is, there's some historic elements at the site already, and just to, keep that theme of history at the site, and right. Then bring in that tourism as well, and try and be able to make the site a little more usable. I mean, right now, the way it's configured, we want to be able to make this a little more accessible for everyone. So, anything else you want to add to that, Dawn?
Just kind of leading into the next project, as the Route 66 is going to be located where the Veterans Memorial currently is. We're requesting that the Veterans Memorial be relocated to the Village Hall campus. We anticipate this site to be utilized a little bit more frequent. We have a lot of events here. This is more a central location that will ensure that the service and sacrifice of our veterans are honored, not just on special occasions, but every day. During our special events, we'll have people visiting this site, so Chris will go over the new location, but right now, the Route 66 themed park will move towards the front of the site that's in front of you, and then the Veterans Memorial will move over here at Village Hall. And do you have a slide for that?
I do.
Perfect.
Just wanted to show what we have currently, with with the Doc McCartan Memorial, and I think it's important to say one of the things that we've been looking at for the last little bit of time here was adding that sixth service. So we really tried to fit that into what we're thinking conceptually in the new location for sure. So what we've identified is the southwest corner of this property, and it's highlighted in the blue on the bottom left of the screen. What we'll have is some additional parking is what we're planning for. We definitely want to make sure we have enough room to respect the veterans and enough space. Right now, we are limited on some of the spaces for some of our dedication stones that are bricks that are out there. So we're looking at a bunch of different concepts and elements at this point. Again, very conceptual. We would be the same team. It's going to be Robinson Engineering with RVI, which is formerly Hitchcock. So we've got a long history with both of those groups.
You know, and as you indicated, you know, both sites right now are a little bit cramped. You know, there's, you know, they've served us well over the years. Obviously, you know, the government's added it, the federal government's added another service branch. So that was something that ultimately we had to address regardless. We needed to add in a monument for that branch of the military as well. You know, looking at opportunities because of the attendance and the desire to have a little more visible location for a memorial site. You know, obviously we had a lot of success with having the Vietnam Veterans Memorial out here when we had it visiting. A lot more parking all around the site. There's, you know, people can then throughout, I think Dawn, you indicated, you know, people can come more readily throughout the year. They can walk the site, they can walk around. Even we're having other events, there's an opportunity for people to come by and you know, show and honor those who have served us. And this site's always been looked at for a possible addition in the future. It's why the roadways were stubbed out. It's why everything, it's always been there. But this is a great way, you know, then we have the police memorial in front of the Village Hall and the police department here. Kind of ties those memorial sites together and really should be a very nice addition for the community and for those to recognize those who have served our nation. So anything else? Anybody want to ask? Trustee Richards, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One of the things I like about this site here is it's quiet. You'll be able to sit and reflect and take some time. We've all been even during the service. That park served us well down there. But when the trucks roll by in the middle of a Memorial Day service, there's nothing like that. Well, you know, it'll be nice to be in a nice, quiet, reflective place. And I think people will start to enjoy it then more year-round instead of just on a holiday.
Right. And, you know, and again, it goes back to having enough parking for both uses, you know, and this gives us a little more flexibility on that. Trustee Clancy, please.
I was just going to add what you just said about more people will show up because there'll be more room for them to come visit, you know.
Absolutely, and there'll be more amenities too. We're
Yes,
planning a pavilion and
definitely.
just some more passive things that people can enjoy.
Because
when
it
they're
did
out
get
there.
kind of hectic having people parked on both sides of Montrose and they were parking on the other side of 53 and crossing over, and it's not the safest way to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and while the parking that'll come off adjacent there won't probably cover all our parking needs, we have much closer other parking alternatives at that point, much, you know, which will make the events open to a lot more people. And that's a huge benefit, you know, for when we do have those various events throughout the year. And again, as you indicated, Mr. Dre, we are moving items, so in basically reconstructing very much a similar type of thing on those structures as we have today at the current Veterans Memorial. That stuff will not go to waste. The stones will be moved as well.
Correct.
It will still be the Doc McCartan Veterans Memorial. Well, I'm looking forward, we've talked to the family, I'm looking forward to having them out and when we rededicate the new site. But this will certainly be a site that will last well into the future. Sure. It was a great investment when we did the current one. It was a massive improvement for that. But this certainly will be a site for veterans and the loved ones and people remembering their loved ones that have served us for many, many years to come. Anything else? Anyone else want to add?
I do want to add that McCartan, Brian has offered his services for the irrigation on this at no cost because of his father. So I thought that was really nice of him to offer that. And we've worked with him with all the irrigation through the village for the last, 15, 20 years at least, so.
That's fantastic. It's a great partnership, and I think it's just going to be a site. I mean, we have a very good site today, but this will be a site people can take a lot of pride in, and it will be very respectful and add those amenities, more ADA accessibility, things and then that'll allow us at the current site. One of the things, is that site is aged, and over the decades, it's, many of the things that are there don't meet the standards of safety and ADA accessibility that we might want to achieve as a community, which we've worked very hard on. And this will allow us to modernize the other site and add in this, this truly historic element to that and give us that connection to the past with that site as well. So hopefully it turns out, I think everything's going to turn out quite nice for everyone. So
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board.
all right, thank you. Well, do you have everybody? Okay, I think all of our guests are here now. So we will return to the original first part of our program. And first we have 263581, a presentation by the Red Cross Illinois River Valley Chapter. Come on up. You can go to that podium or you can go to that podium. Up to you.
Hi, Mayor, HUD Council. I'm Reagan Pattison. I'm the chair of the American Red Cross Illinois River Valley Chapter, which includes Romeoville and where our headquarters is. So thank you so much for having us. And this is Ryan McVeigh, our interim chair of the board. And we are so happy to be here since it's American Red Cross Month. And what we're trying to do, I've been saying, we were at the Joliet Rotary yesterday, is Ryan and I are trying to do this is our tour. Kind of like a concert tour. We know that administrations, elected officials, fire departments, districts, they change. And people change. And so do we, and we've had some changes too. So we are trying to hit the refresh button and make our rounds and strengthen our relationships. So not just who and what we do, but how we can be here for you. God forbid a disaster happens. We don't, it's not minutes, it's seconds matters. And we want to be here for your residents and for your fire and your police. So if we can just text somebody, call somebody, and we want to know who those people are. And then you guys are the, eyes and ears of your community, and know if there's a house fire or something like that, you have those personal touches that can help us do our job. So with that, I'll have Brian start.
Yeah, hi everyone, thank you for having us. My name is Ryan McVeigh. I am the Community Disaster Program Manager for Illinois River Valley and also the Interim Executive Director, as Reagan mentioned. I'm very happy to be here today. Our office sits right in Romeoville, proudly right just north of 55. I'm here today to answer any questions that you might have about any of our programming, to share with you a little bit about what we do. Reagan touched on some of our disaster cycle services, but we also have other lines of service, including our blood services program, where we organize blood drive and help to make sure that the blood supply for the nation is strong and healthy, and people that need it, that is available to them. We also have some programs for veterans and services to the armed forces, supporting their families, helping with emergency communications with those that are deployed abroad, and then also our training service as well, which you may be familiar with, but the CPR and the first aid, et cetera. So I'm just very happy to be here. So sound the alarm, May 16th, and we've already been in touch with the fire districts, but we're planning to do that installations of smoke alarms within communities between Bolingbrook and Romeoville. So we'll be working with your fire departments on that. That's a one-day event. Ongoing throughout the year, we refer to it as our home fire campaign, and it's fire prevention campaign. Yeah, so that's another piece that we offer.
Let me talk more about Sound the Alarm. It is a one-day event, but in that one day, it is pretty incredible. So it is an opportunity if any of y'all would like to volunteer. And we have registration. We serve food to the volunteers in the beginning. We obviously gather and help each other and inform what we are about to do. We partner with the fire departments or fire districts, and then we go out in teams. We already have a list where people have pre-registered to have smoke alarms be installed in their homes. And yeah, it's usually like a team of like 3 or 4. And we go in there and we ask the homeowner, if they have fire alarms, do they know if they're working or not? We check on that. We will remove and replace if they want additional ones. Say there's not one near the kitchen. Something I learned last year is to not have one like really in the center of the kitchen or right by the stove. And so it's not just providing that service and life-saving equipment, but it's very educational too. So we would love any volunteers. If you guys want to come out, there's plenty of pictures and marketing, but the totals last year of the amount of alarms and homes, I would say the amount of homes that we did, it was like over 400. And everything is documented. And, I don't know how many years that we have done this where we have identified homes where we have installed fire alarms where there was a fire and we saved lives. So don't have that statistic, but it really is meaningful. So as we get our details and flyers and marketing material, we'll definitely make sure that y'all have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I threw you off. I've moved over here.
Where'd you go?
Anybody got any questions? We want to let you know, we appreciate you coming by. I mean, we've had such a wonderful relationship with the American Red Cross being here in Romeo for so long. Probably not a lot of questions because you're part of our community and we really appreciate that. So we have a proclamation then for today. If I could get a motion for our American Red Cross.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Richards, second by trustee Clancy. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The nays, the ayes have it. American Red Cross Month, March 2026. Whereas over 135 years ago, the American Red Cross was established as a humanitarian organization, guided by 7 fundamental principles. Today, the American Red Cross is one of the largest humanitarian organizations in the world and delivers its mission every day to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies. And whereas the American Red Cross of the Illinois River Valley has been in Romeoville since 2015, and whereas this chapter serves more than 1 million people in Wilkes, Grundy, Kane, Kendall, LaSalle counties, and whereas the American Red Cross of the Illinois River Valley has over 300 active volunteers who respond to home fires, local disasters, deployed to other parts of the nation to alleviate human suffering, and whereas the village of Romeoville has played an integral part in holding multiple blood drives each year, and whereas March is Red Cross Month, a special time to recognize and thank the Red Cross volunteers, donors who give their time and resources to help members of the community. The Red Cross depends on these local heroes to deliver help and hope during a disaster. We applaud our heroes here in Romeoville who give themselves to assist their neighbors when they need a helping hand. And now, therefore, I, John D. Noak, the mayor of the village of Romeoville, do hereby proclaim March 2026 as American Red Cross Month and encourage everyone to support this organization and its noble humanitarian mission.
please share our gratitude to all your volunteers and let them know how much we appreciate everything. And your partnership here in our community has been fantastic. And when we get our grand opening for our ribbon cutting for our new Veterans Memorial, we move it over, we'll invite you out. All right? Thank you. Very good. Next, we have Resolution 264178, resolution to accept a quote from Park Catalog for the purchase of 2 bleacher sets for Romeoville Crossing Park. Oh, Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor. If I could take both
Oh,
Resolution
sure.
26.
Of course. Resolution 264181, a resolution authorizing acceptance of a quote from Park Recreation, Inc. They're cute with their name there. For the purchase of custom craftsman shelter for Romeoville Crossing Community Park.
Thank you so much. Tonight, we're seeking approval to accept a quote from Park Catalog for the purchase of 2 sets of bleachers for Romeo Crossing Community Park. We solicited 3 proposals, and the Park Catalog submitted the lowest quote. The bleachers will be installed at the Adaptive Sport Field, which is scheduled to open late spring. Northern Will County Special Recreation Association will be hosting its first Special Recreation Junior National Wheelchair Softball Tournament in August, making these bleachers an important addition for spectators and participants. Northern Will County Special Recreation Association contributed $300,000 towards Romeo Crossing Community Park project and will contribute $30,000 over the next 10 years. Let me go to the next slide here. We are also seeking approval to add an additional shelter at Wiggly Field Dog Park. This shelter is designed to match the existing shelter in order to maintain consistent aesthetics throughout the park. The shelter is being added to provide additional shade adjacent to the recently installed agility course. We're really excited to add this additional amenity to Romeo Crossing Community Park.
Yeah, that section's pretty big, so a little extra shade when you're walking the dogs around, I'm sure they'll appreciate that.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've really gotten a very active dog park community, and it's great to see how they support each other in that site. But again, this is also about how the site's evolving as a whole. In the ability to create this, and we already have a major event in for this accessible field. I can't wait to see that. I mean, I think that's going to be truly special. Any questions or comments? Well, thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
job as usual. Now we have a consent
Move for
agenda.
consent
We
agenda.
got a motion from Trustee Griffin for consent agenda.
Second.
Second by Trustee Geary. Any further discussion? Hearing none, could I get a roll call, please?
Trustee Griffin,
Aye.
Trustee Gary,
Aye.
Trustee Palmeyer,
Aye.
Trustee Clancy,
Aye.
Trustee Richards.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Very good. Within that consent agenda then, we have minutes 1021, approval of minutes regular meeting March 4th, 2026. 263588, approve bill schedule A. 263589, approve bill schedule B. 263590, approve bill schedule C. Ordinance 262038, ordinance approving the official zoning map for 2026. Ordinance 262042, ordinance amending chapter 42 of the Village Code of Ordinances. Ordinance 262043, ordinance adopting sections 133.30 through and including 133.36 of the Village Code of Ordinances. Ordinance 262044, ordinance approving a transfer and relocation of Valium Camp in connection with private activity bond issue and related matters. Resolution 264170, resolution approving a real estate agreement with Carillon Adult Master Association. Resolution 264171, resolution authoring a development agreement with Carillon Adult Master Association. Resolution 264172, resolution which enables the village to perform work on state highways. Resolution 264176, resolution establishing a development security for the Hawaiian Brothers Retail Center. Resolution 264177, resolution establishing a development security for the sanitary improvements at 485 Crossroads Parkway in Bolingbrook. Resolution 264179, a resolution releasing and terminating an economic incentive agreement. Resolution 264180, resolution approving a plan of easement for village utilities at the Joliet Junior College.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
trustee Griffin, second by trustee Pallmeyer. Any further discussion? Hearing none, can I get a roll call, please?
Trustee Griffin.
Aye.
Trustee Palmeyer.
Aye.
Trustee Clancy.
Aye.
Trustee Richards.
Aye.
Trustee Aguirre.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Very good. A lot of good partnerships in that, things that you've been working on for a while. It's just a lot of positive, like behind the scenes things that help with those partnerships. So next is mayor's report. We'll start with 263583, renewing our proclamation for Mayor's Monarch Pledge Day. Do I have a motion? Motion by
Second.
trustee Geary, second by trustee Clancy. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? The ayes have it. Our proclamation for Mayor's Monarch Pledge Day, whereas the monarch butterfly is an iconic North American species whose multi-generational migration and metamorphosis from caterpillar to butterfly has captured the imaginations of millions of Americans, and whereas both the western and eastern monarch populations have seen significant declines in less than 1% of the western monarch population remaining, while the eastern population has fallen by as much as 90%, and whereas the Village of Romeoville recognized that human health ultimately depends on well-functioning ecosystems, that biodiversity regions can better support food and production, healthy soil and air quality, and can foster healthy connections between humans and wildlife. And whereas cities, towns, and counties have a critical role in play to help save the monarch butterfly, and the Village of Romeoville is striving to become a leader. And whereas I, Mayor John Dinoke, signed the National Wildlife Federation's Mayor's Monarch Pledge and have officially committed to making meaningful action to protect the monarch butterfly. And whereas the Village of Romeoville has committed to various initiatives to promote the monarch gardens and provide educational opportunities. And whereas every resident of the Village of Romeoville can make a difference for the monarch by planting a native milkweed and nectar plants to provide habitat for the monarch and pollinators in locations where people live, work, learn, play, and worship. And where now, therefore, I, John Dinoke, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the Village of Romeoville, do hereby proclaim March 18, 2026 as Mayor's Monarch Pledge Day, and in the Village of Romeoville encourage all residents to participate in community activities and support and celebrate the monarch conservation. Very good. And again, great activities being done by our Conservation Sustainability Commission. We've got, plants you can get to plant these. Honestly, it's not a lot of space we're talking about. If you could give us just a small plot in your yard, it could make all the difference. Monarchs move, so they need way stations that are on a wide variety of areas. You can integrate native plants and monarch way stations into your landscaping, into your planting. It doesn't have to be your whole yard. We just need a little portion of it. And that will make a big difference. And every year we have one at our house, and we're out there looking and seeing, and it's amazing to watch them take advantage of this, and they will. Believe it or not, just a few feet by few feet in your yard can make a lot of difference. If we get enough people to do that, we'll make a real impact. And we've been doing this with our businesses, with our schools as well. We've worked with schools to plant monarch way stations. So every opportunity we can, we will be happy to work with you. And I think everybody's doing a great job, and I want to thank everybody who's been involved with that. So very good. Rest of my mayor's report. It has been a busy time of the year again. You can tell we're getting close to spring, though it didn't feel like it the other day. But it's usually a lot of events that start up about this time of the year. I again want to thank the Red Cross for coming. On a sad note, I do want to send my condolences to the Herbst family on the passing of Elizabeth. The Herbst family has been a big part of the community for many years, and we want to let them know that we're thinking about them during this time. And I've been all over the place. I had the opportunity to go to Park Forest a couple of times, Mayor Caucus, and for a community event they did. It's interesting to go down that part of the world and connect with them. I think we may look in this academy thing that they did for the community. I think they had some great ideas, and maybe we'll think about doing something here as well, similar. So maybe I'll invite my colleague from there to come join us, since he invited me to come join them. That would be nice. We also had the ribbon cutting for VASA. Oh my God, holy cow. They had a ton of members before they even opened the door. And from what I hear, they have already exceeded all their expectations for memberships already. Like setting records for an opening. Like over 1,000 since the day and probably more than that by now. That was like a few days ago, since the day we opened. And there was almost 2,000 before we opened it. So, I mean, it's incredible to see the interest in that facility. There's tons of activity back in that center. Life is coming back into there. There's a lot more work to be had and done, but it's starting. VOS is helping bring that interest back into that site. We also announced today that Valley View Dental, who has been an excellent partner of Romeoville and has lots of connections to our community, is expanding their footprint there. They'll be expanding actually to the back of the facility, which is their headquarters. They actually have multiple sites throughout Chicagoland. And, I go there, they're a great group. We got some really great dentists, but they do a phenomenal job. And it's great to see them investing more in the site too. I think here shortly, probably the next day or two, we'll probably have some more announcements as well on that center. I'll tease everybody, probably something food related that they'll be excited about. And then I think we're going to be having some more announcements in not too long. I just talked to the representatives, the owners of the center. They are having lots of dialogue now that VOS is open. So it's getting very exciting at that intersection once again. I had the good fortune going by we had the Value of Enrichment dinner on the 6th. Which was fantastic, wonderful job. It's always interesting to see how Mike Lauer dresses up. And we had a good crowd out for that. Speaking of Valley View, I'll just skip over to those because then we turned around the next Friday and we were I had the good fortune of going by and buying a table and sponsoring the Romeoville Athletic Boosters Trivia Night. Trustee Chavez, who's not able to be with us here tonight, but him and his family took the table I purchased, and they put together a team. I said, "You go for it." Last trivia night, I didn't do as well. But it was a great crowd. They got a great, wonderful group there that works with the athletic boosters at RHS. Happy to support that. And then on the theme with RHS, I was able to stop by the RHS Best Buddies event. They have an annual event. They work with Ulta Cosmetics, which is just here locally as well in the area, and do a wonderful day for the Best Buddies program for the kids, and bring them all in for the day. And they actually bring in other high schools as well from the area that have Best Buddy programs. And our police department helps out. They do a wonderful job as well, setting up some of the games. There's a video game center. It's a day long of just hanging out with your buddies, getting makeovers, getting haircuts, having food. The village helps sponsor the food for it. And then I was happy to come by and drop off, help out with a donation for the program to continue their good work. This community should be very proud of what it does to be inclusive of all of its members. And there's a rich history with this. We have one of the better, more active Best Buddy programs out there, and the people who help run that and volunteer with that are just outstanding. I love going to that event every year. It's just absolutely fantastic. But there's also other good events. We also had the Pathways to Professions event on March 10th, which was with the Workforce Board here in Will County. Our county executive's office very involved with that. But they had almost 100 employers or something around that, 90 something. Yeah, 1,000 students that came out. So in the morning, they have high schools come in and have the kids be able to meet with everything from different groups that are hiring to training programs to universities, you name it. It is quite the setup. And then in the afternoon, it's open to the public to come in and look for career opportunities as well. We've been happy to host it here in Romeoville for a number of years. Probably one of the better events out there when it comes to getting people connected with lifelong career opportunities, or even if they need something as adults now, or, introducing our high school kids to the opportunities that exist out there for them. And I want to thank everybody who took part in that. Many of our departments that took part in that as well. We were out there in force. Many of our neighboring communities were there as well. A lot of local companies that are hiring. I think a lot of those kids are probably surprised at the really very lucrative and very advanced career opportunities that are out there, even in our own community. So it was a really great day. Then had the opportunity to go by on Saturday after the Best Buddies later in the day, Knights of Columbus. I want to congratulate them on another St. Patrick's dinner event that they had. The Knights of Columbus do a lot of things in the community people may not even realize. And then also even during the holidays, they provide meals for people, but they are out there doing all kinds of work. And often their members are also involved in many other organizations. There's a few up here. I just want to thank them. They've always made me and my family feel very welcome there. We've always been, it feels like a bigger part of that we're part of the family there too at St. Andrews, and the Knights put on a great event. Great turnout this year. They did a really great job. Also want to congratulate Hampton Park Social Athletic Club, another great organization that raises money and helps many causes within our community, out on a successful Easter meat raffle on Sunday. So it was a pretty busy weekend. And want to thank and congratulate everybody who took part in the polar plunge. I made a donation to help push them over last year's goal, or what they made last year, and it looks like they succeeded and had a successful event. Very good. That's what we want to hear. So I want to congratulate all of them. While they were plunging, I was over at Best Buddies. But a lot happening. So as you can tell, things are starting to pick up for the year. It's the front end of the winter, front end of the spring, and everybody's getting out there doing all their activities. So a lot coming up. Going to stop by our colleagues down in Shannon, one of our partners at the Metropolitan, or with our water commission, their State of the Village. A lot of other events we got going on here in the next few days. We also will be having a ribbon cutting for Hibbett coming up here, and so we're going to be very busy. There's a lot going on right now, and that's good, and you should keep an eye out. Like I said, I kind of teased some more announcements, but there should be more announcements coming soon on a number of different fronts, and a lot happening in the community right now. So, and with that, I'll turn it over to Clerk's report.
Thank you, Mayor Noak. I would like to agree with Mayor Noak on the Valley View Educational Enrichment dinner. I think everyone had a good time, and it is always interesting to see Mike dress up each year. Very amusing. I think we also were impressed by some of the other costumes, especially the women with the hats that they wore. It was really a nice event. I think everyone had a good time, and I'd like to thank you all for attending as well. And we will meet tomorrow night at the Bolingbrook Police Department to go over the event. I think each year we are getting ahead of the game a lot quicker, and it allows the members to be able to take part in the activities. So tomorrow's meeting is at 7 o'clock, and I will give you more information after that. Thank you. That's it for me, Mayor.
Okay, very good. Village Manager's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a few quick updates here. We received a lot of questions about our charging station here at Village Hall. It is getting close to completion. We have just a little more work to do there, some concrete work, and we'll be putting out some information hopefully soon on the opening of that. So we should have that, I would guess, in the next week that goes out on the date that it'll be open and available. Another update on Romeo Crossing Park. Kelly talked a little bit about the progress over there. We hope to have a ribbon cutting here in early spring. They're finishing up the adaptive sports field, the inclusive playground, and the Challenge Fitness area, and we look forward to that ribbon cutting coming here in early spring. Before I give some dates on some things, I just want to congratulate the staff. We did get the ISO rating in, and it was lowered from 3 to a 2. There should have been a press release that went out on that. That does affect insurance ratings and insurance policies for residents and businesses, so congratulations to the fire and police departments and public works. That's a significant achievement, and it really reflects stronger fire protection capabilities and just overall commitment to public safety. So we're really proud of the staff going from the 3 to a 2 on that. And then just some events that we have coming up. The Nerf and Protect will be Saturday, April 11th from 12 to 3 at the Recreation Center. And then we have our building permit open house. This is the second year we'll be hosting that on April 14th from 4 to 6. And then congratulations to the police department on the Polar Plunge. They did a great job for Special Olympics this weekend. They raised over $14,000, so congratulations to them. And that's all. Thank you.
Very good. New business.
Consent agenda.
Okay. I got a motion for consent agenda by trustee Griffin,
Second.
second by trustee Richards. Any further discussion? Hearing none, can I get a roll call, please?
Trustee Griffin,
Aye.
trustee Richards,
Aye.
trustee Palmyra,
Aye.
trustee Clancy,
Aye.
and trustee Gary.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Very good. Then within that consent agenda then, for new business, we have resolution 264173, a resolution entering into a professional services proposal with RVI Planning and Landscape Architecture for design engineering services for Route 66 Park. Resolution 264174, resolution entering into professional services proposal for RVI Planning and Landscape Architecture for design and engineering services for Veterans Park. Resolution 264178, resolution accept a quote from Park Catalog for the purchase of 2 bleachers sets for Romeoville Crossing Community Park. And resolution 264181, a resolution authorizing acceptance of a quote for Park Rations Inc. for purchase of a custom craftsman shelter for Romeoville Crossing Community Park.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve by trustee Griffin, second by trustee Clancy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, can I get a roll call, please?
Trustee Griffin,
Aye.
trustee Clancy,
Aye.
trustee Palmyra,
Aye.
trustee Richards,
Aye.
and trustee Gary.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Very good. Board comments. Trustee Palmer, please.
The only thing I have this evening is the next Special Events Commission meeting will be Tuesday, April 14th at 4:30 PM at the Rec Center.
Very good. And if you got input on what you want to hear, that's when to go talk to them for next season. Trustee Griffin, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Scholarships are available now on the village website for students from Romeoville, students of or a parent is a veteran or a grandparent is a veteran. And the only other thing I have is for our Muslim friends, I want to wish you Eid Mubarak, and that's all.
Excellent. Thank you. Trustee Clancy, please.
Yes, just want to offer condolences to Tom Herbst's family on the passing of his mother, and that's Diana's mother-in-law. And then thanks to the Red Cross for all the things that they do. Sometimes it doesn't get talked about enough, but as you heard tonight, they do a great and tremendous job. And then Springtide Craft Show, the 22nd annual Springtide Craft Show will be held Saturday, March 28th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Rec Center. And if you have any additional information needed, it's 1-815-886-6222. And then Happy Hound Hunt, Egg Hunt. Don't forget about the Happy Hound Hunt on March 29th at 11 a.m. Bring your pup out for more fun. Entitle him to look for the hunt for the eggs. This is a free event and features prizes, photos, and plenty of other good dog times. And for any additional information on that, also call 1-815-886-6222. And that will be it for tonight.
Very good. Trustee Richards, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Planning and zoning, brief update. March 24th meeting is canceled. And I just want to take a second to comment. There were a lot of great events over the last week or two. I attended some, the ones I could get to. I do want to take a moment to talk about the Knights of Columbus. Some people look at that as a Catholic event. It isn't, the Knights of Columbus are a Catholic organization, but they raise money to give away, and a lot of it goes to special needs students in our district, in our area, in our town. So, you know, when you see them out there for the Tootsie Roll Drive, that money goes to special needs students in our district, in our town. So, you know, remember that they're here working for the good of the community, and yes, they sold out their event. It was a great time. Enjoyed it. That's all I have.
Yeah, excellent event. They really do, like I said, so much that people just probably don't understand, but they are an excellent service organization. Trustee Geary, please.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I have fire and police meeting has been moved from this past Tuesday to Thursday, March 19th at 6:30, so I have nothing to report. And for conservation and sustainability, that one was also moved because the weather was incredible last week. And it's Wednesday, March 25th at 5 PM at O'Hara Woods. They're going to discuss a little bit more of the layout for the Bluebell Festival, which I'll go ahead and remind everyone. It's Saturday, May 2nd, for the first time Bluebell Festival event from 9 to 1 at O'Hara Woods. There'll be coffee and food trucks, hikes through O'Hara Woods, and I've lived out here for 57 years and I've never seen the bluebells, so I'm looking forward to it. And hiking through the woods.
Don't pick them.
I cannot touch them, yes, they are treasures of the area, so. I think I can make a picture and paint it though, right? So, anyways, and at this festival, you will be able to pick up your monarch gardens, which you should order by April 18th. You can follow the QR code or go to our website, www.romeoville.org, to order your butterfly kit at $50, which is a great deal for, I think, 18 plants. And there's the rain barrel also that you can purchase now for $45. And the residents receive $25 off the purchase of their subsidized barrels, limit to one per household. And they will be picked up at Public Works Open House Saturday, May 16th from 9 in the morning. So, and I want to thank the Red Cross for providing valuable information. It's, you know, it's blood drives, it's partnering up with the fire districts for fire alarms. I did not know they did stuff like that, so excellent, thank you. My condolences to Tom Herbst and family for the passing of his mom. Just so you know, she was 102 and had a fabulous life. So that was great. And it was awesome to see the Vasa parking lot with 1 million cars out there. So, and thanks to the Knights of Columbus for their St. Patrick's fundraiser dinner. Food was phenomenal. And thank you for all the work that they do for the good of the community. So, and corned beef and cabbage was delicious, just so you know. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Very good. We do have executive session, so I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
I'm gonna give that one to Trustee Clancy and second to Trustee Geary.
Okay.
All those in favor, let's get a roll call, please.
Trustee Clancy,
Aye.
Trustee Gary,
Aye.
Trustee Palmeyer,
Aye.
Trustee Richards,
Aye.
and Trustee Griffin.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Very good. We will go into executive session then for purposes of personnel, 5 ILCS 120-2C1, land acquisition, 5 ILSCS 122C5, pending or threatened litigation, 5 ILCS 122C11. Thank you. And there'll be no announcement when we come back.